Who could be coming in to replace him? Well, Inzaghi, very much, according to the newspapers, in the mix. Of course, so much success at Inter. It would be kind of weird, wouldn't it, to go from Inter to Manchester United, considering how both teams are doing at the moment.
Yeah, why would you? Just give it to Gareth and be done with it.
However, he is in the conversation at 16-1. Meanwhile, Italian newspapers reporting that Sir Alex Ferguson has told Ineos that Allegri is the man who they should...
Oh, wait. Sir Alex obviously hadn't been watching Juventus play. I'm presuming he hasn't watched Juventus.
Let's get Gab's opinion on all of it. Gab, let's start with Inzaghi. Why would he go to United?
Well, obviously, United have a ton of money. United are a massive club. And those would be the reasons that you would go to Manchester United. That said, he's extended his contract at Inter. Inter are in a much better place right now as a team. He's had a chance to mold his team. And I think, and I mean, this might be the biggest reason why he wouldn't go, or why maybe he shouldn't go, and why United might not be so big on having him. I'm not sure how his football would go down in the Premier League. And what I mean by that is this is a guy who, you know, when he says, I have 20, 24 players in the squad, he means it. Again, we saw it tonight, right? The Champions League, boom, 7 changes. Okay, they're playing Red Star Belgrade, but still, I mean, they need the points, right? They drew the first game. He is constantly doing things where he's making substitutions, he's taking off star players. He really has this kind of almost revolving sense. Whoever's fit fits in, and he gets away with it. He can do that because he spends hours in training working on tactics. These are all things that don't generally go down too well in England. I'm speaking, you know, in very broad terms for many different reasons. Partly it's a culture, but especially at a club like Manchester United, these things take time to instill. You have had a very different manager in Erik ten Hag, and before him, of course, Solskjaer as well. You just don't have the time to do that. So I don't know. I think he'd like to maybe stay at Inter a while longer, and then later on, if he wants the challenge and they want him, sure. But he would not be an evident fit, in my view, for Manchester United, not because he's not a great manager, because he really is. It's just that club right now, I don't see it.
Allegri, of course, would love the job, wouldn't he, Gab?
Yeah, well, he wanted the job before, so much so that, you know, when he left Juve the first time, and obviously, you know, he was expecting that he was going to get offers from Real Madrid, who we did talk to, of course, and Manchester United, to the point that he sent one of his assistant coaches to England, to London, for a whole year, paid for him to be here so the guy could watch football, the guy could learn about the Premier League, so that the guy could learn English, you know, in preparation for that big job offer, whether it was Manchester United. I think this was pre-Arteta, so I think Arsenal were in the mix as well. And then those job offers never came. So I think it's obvious that he would really like it. I don't know about this Sir Alex Max Allegri link. Certainly the journalist who wrote the story is somebody who's historically used to be a transfer reporter, historically quite close to the Allegri camp. So I don't quite know what to make of it. I would find that very surprising. If you got peak Max Allegri and you were looking for a quick fix, I think he probably could deliver. I'm just not sure that, you know, we have peak Max Allegri anymore. And I also think football's changed a little bit from his heyday.
Who would you hire, Robbo?
Oh, it's a difficult one. It certainly wouldn't be Gareth Southgate. I like Inzaghi. I like the football that he plays, and I disagree a little bit with Gab. Why wouldn't a manager get out on the training field and do a lot of tactics work with English players or foreign players? Manchester United aren't full of English players, so players have to get used to that. The work they've done with Solskjaer hasn't worked, does it? And the work they've done with Erik ten Hag hasn't worked. So you need somebody that's going to be more technically and tactically better, I would say.
No, sorry, Joe Robert. What I mean by that, it's not so much it's not that they're English players or whatever kind of players. It's the fact that given the way the fixture list is in the Premier League, it does take you time to get your ideas across. You do not have a lot of time to work. Inzaghi spent most of his first season trying to get his ideas across. Some of it worked, some of it didn't work. This is the kind of coach that does long tactical sessions, that does 2-a-days. And I think a lot of the feedback that you get from a lot of the coaches that have been successful in the Premier League is that a lot of times with players, less is more. I'm not even sure that this kind of works at other clubs in Italy. It worked at Inter. He got buy-in very quickly, and it was able to work out. But this business, as well as his program substitutions and, you know, leaving Lautaro on the bench in big games, stuff like that, which he's done more than once. You know, these are all things that, yeah, if you're Pep Guardiola and you've won the league a million times, you know, nobody's going to question you. But if you're coming into a club like Manchester United, as we saw with Ten Hag, you try to do things a little bit differently, they don't work out, then immediately it's all uphill.
Until proven otherwise, Ineos are stumbling around in the dark.
Yes.
Right? They can bring in all these people. Barada, Wilcox, Sir Dave Brailsford, all their mates. They can bring them all in. He's great at this, he's great at that, he's great at that. You have a sitting duck here who's been a sitting duck, the Dutch manager, since halfway through last season. They're now potentially looking for a new manager, depending on what happens against Porto and Aston Villa. And this new manager is going to have to work with players that have come in over the summer that I've no doubt Erik Ten Hag was pushing for. Because no other Man United manager, I think, is signing Joshua Zirkzee. Matthias de Ligt, he's worked with them before. You know, the list goes on. Yeah. So where is the... We talked about this at the weekend. Where is the strategy? Where is the strategy? It's the same old, same old. They're signing players to suit this manager who's not going to be there. I mean, it's just bonkers.